Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Authentic Beauty, where we believe that makeup and beauty should be for, say it with me, all ages and all genders. My name is Lisa, I'm a 43-year-old trans woman, and in today's video I've created this smoky, slightly gothy look inspired by the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Cremated collection, but using this from Makeup Revolution, which is 1/10 of the price. Are you the key master? So for today's video, I thought I'd wear a lovely gothy, well, it's not really gothy, is it? It's just skulls, black and white skulls, which I absolutely love. This is so my aesthetic. Make sure that the hair stays out of my face while I'm doing my makeup. This is the palette that we're using, which is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded. Now, I was going to film this anyway, because in the giveaway that I did, that ended last week, that should have gone out in March. Long story, anyway, go and check the videos for why it got delayed. But I was going to film, because I gave away one of these palettes, and I was going to film a look using it, and of course since then Jeffree Star has come out with his Cremated palette, which isn't the same as this. It's got a lot more whites and some different sort of variations in colour, but you know what, I don't think it's going to be that different, because there's only so many things you can do with black, white and grey. So I was going to do a look with this anyway, so I kind of figured that it would be a good time. As you can see, this is very, very well used and dug into, but I'm going to use that today, and I've got a couple of other items that I'm probably going to use as well, just to create a slightly more gothy look, really, a slightly more smoky look. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do that, shall we? So I'm going to zoom you in. So I've got to say, my energy levels might be a little bit all over the place in this video. I have been set up and ready to film for quite a while, but I then had some issues with, so I have had this face on, my foundation on, for about 2 hours already. So if it's looking a little bit sort of worn in just here on the forehead, this is kind of what my foundation normally looks like after a couple of hours. But hey ho, we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to go in with the Revolution Pro Eye Elements in Core. I'm just going to lay that down just on top of foundation and stuff that I've put on earlier, just to give it a nice sort of sticky base to stick to, really. You can use a beauty blender or a sponge to actually apply this, but to be honest with you, I find a finger works just as well. Actually, before I go any further, I'm going to do something that I have regularly talked about hating on this channel. I'm going to bake. I know. Now, I'm not baking because I want that look, because obviously all of this is dry, so it's not going to do any difference. But I'm actually going to lay down some powder using this Makeup Revolution setting powder in translucent, the loose setting powder, and I'm just going to place that with a puff under my eye, just because I know from using this palette before that you do get quite a bit of fallout. I know the foundation's not looking fantastic, but I don't want to have to reapply everything just because of fallout. And it is just a shit ton of powder that you place under the eye. So I'm just going to use this brush just on this one here, which is this sort of bone colour. Now there's no names on this palette, so this is just number 1 according to the details on the back, and I'm just loading this up on the brush. Now the reason I'm using quite a thick brush is just to save time, because I'm a bit of a lazy bitch. And yeah, so I'm just placing this just slightly above the crease line. So I'm going to take this very cool light grey shade just here, and I'm going to load that up on the blending brush, and I'm going to place this, bearing in mind my very hooded eyes, just above where the crease is, and I'm going to take it, initially packing it up and just round, and then I'm just going to blend that in using those very famous windscreen wiper motion across. As you can see, there's actually quite a nice amount of colour there, and this is one of the things with this palette. It's actually it's not super pigmented, but it's pigmented enough to get the job done. So then I'm going to go in with this one here, this cooler tone grey. It is noticeably sort of, you know, you've got one here that's sort of slightly more blue tone, and this one is a slightly brown type of grey. And I know that when Jeffree did his Cremated review and his Cremated palette, a lot of people are talking about the different shades of grey, the 50 shades of grey. But this is actually a really pretty one, because it's sort of, well, you'll see, it's still very grey, but it's got a little bit of life to it. It's not cadaver grey. and I'm just going into that crease line, but again, because of my hooded eye, I have to kind of let the eye fall and then work out there where the colour is. And now I'm just tapping a little bit more onto the brush and then just going in again. I'm going to go next in with this darker brownish grey here, and this has got a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it's more of a satin formula, but I'm just going to place it again just over the lid, sorry, just giving it a little bit of a tap and place rather than smoking it. And you could just kind of blend that together and leave that there. I'm just now going to blend those three tones together just a little bit on the outside using the clean brush, the wiped off brush, and then blend that in just here. And they do kind of blend together, so it just helps with that smoky look. Now obviously on my eyes, because that hood is quite prevalent, I've got to do a few more steps and actually build in kind of a fake crease. Now you probably don't have to do that if your eyes aren't as hooded as mine. You could just sort of add some lashes, add a bit of a liner, and just use that as your everyday sort of smoky look. I have done that in the past and it does look perfectly fine, but I am going to go in and darken everything up and just add in a bit of drama. So I'm now going to go in using a fairly flat packing brush, and there are three blacks in this palette, and I'm going to go in with this one here, which is the sort of the more grey tone of the blacks. This one's a bit of a satin and this one's got a bit of a sparkle to it as well. So I'm not going too ham at this point. Loading up the brush, I'm going to tap off a little bit, and I'm just going to apply this initially to the outer corner, and I'm just building up the colour. I'm just adding in that shadow, going back in just a little touch, tapping off, and now I'm going to add in where my crease would be if my eye wasn't quite as hooded. So I'm just, as you can see, raising and lowering, and I'm just getting the idea that my hood, the crease would be there. So I'm just darkening that up, as you can see. It's still a little bit patchy just there. Now this is one of the issues that I do have with this palette. You do kind of have to work with it, you do kind of have to finagle it a little bit, and sometimes you do kind of have to load up quite a bit onto the brush to actually deal with that patchiness. This is a £5 palette, this isn't sort of up there with the Jeffree Star prices, the sort of £50 a palette, so just bear that in mind. Sort of the old adage of you do get what you pay for does kind of come true a little bit. Now I've just also realised, as I've been talking, mindlessly put black all over my lower lid, which I wasn't going to do, so that's a thing that just happened. I'm so used to doing this sort of darker look, and I thought today, I'm going to get on camera, I'm going to keep it nice and sort of light and smoky and an everyday look that everybody can do, and yeah, I've just gone back in with my whole goth look, so you know, this is what we're doing now. Sorry about that. And obviously you've seen me, not just in this video but in other videos, kind of raising and lowering my eyebrows to get where the hood is. Now this is obviously something that you don't need to do if your eyes aren't as hooded as mine, but also it's something I never used to have to do, but as I've got older, my eyes, the skin on my eyes is definitely drooping. This sort of, and this mobile skin here, and then that isn't moving, my brush isn't moving at all, that's me just pressing it onto the skin, that's the skin underneath moving, and that is just something that comes with age, and there's not a lot that you can sort of do about that. I do use moisturisers, I do use an awful lot of sort of skincare and quality skincare products. The only way I'm going to get rid of that permanently is to have eye surgery, which I don't think is something I'm kind of really prepared for. Now obviously because I've gone in so ham with that black, which is exactly the thing I said I wasn't going to do, I'm actually going to try and smoke it back out. So I've got the Makeup Revolution brush and I'm going in with that very cool grey tone colour again, and I'm just going to place it above and just on the black, just on the edges, just to try and blend that back out a little bit and to smoke it out. Actually it's not looking too bad now, it is smoking out. This is one of the benefits of this palette not being super hyper pigmented. This is authentic beauty, so I'm showing you the mistakes, and I'm showing you that given half a chance, I will just go for it. I'll end up with just a black smoked out look or like an intense colour look. As you saw in the previous video, the Nikki Tutorial Zodiac video, I kind of get lost with my plan for what I'm supposed to do, and then I just go bold. This is sort of showing you that you can kind of correct it. If you go a bit too dark with this palette, you can correct it, because luckily it does sort of blend out quite nicely. You can get away with probably a lot more than you would do with a much more pigmented palette. I'm using a clean, flat packing brush, and I'm actually going to use this silver tone, this silver shimmer, and I'm using the brush because I want to get a bit more of a sort of controlled application. So the reason I've taken it just to there is because I want to go into the inner corner with a really vibrant white. Now, this one that comes in this palette is okay. I'll show you this one. So again, I've cleaned off this little packing brush, and again, this is one that you really can use with your finger to get maximum impact, or you can use with a wet brush. Now this is a dry brush, and if I just place it there, but there's not a lot of payoff. It's kind of there, but not intensely there. Now it might be okay if you just want to add, you know, a little bit of white. It's definitely there, it's definitely showing up, but it's not the sort of, it's not the hyper white that I was looking for. Now this is going to give me that, and this is a Stargazer Eye Dust in the shade 13. It's a very, very pigmented, shiny white. Now, as you can see, that's on the brush. That's literally what I've picked up, and again, not used to this, but I'm going to tap off some of the excess, and so that's kind of what's left on the brush, and I'm just going to place that in the inner corner as well. And I don't know whether you can see that instantly adds the white that I was looking for, the sort of the slightly more ice white. And I'm not taking it up too high, I'm just literally placing it right into that inner corner. Stargazer is a brand that I like, I really do like, but it's sort of recently just you don't really see much of. It's sort of been relegated to the bargain basement sort of kids section, which is a bit of a shame really. I'm going to go in with, I could either use this goldish tone or this plum sort of purpley tone, and I'm actually going to use this plum because this is a look that I've really enjoyed doing. And this is the Morphe 169. It's just a small sort of, again, another blending brush, but it's quite a firm blending brush this, and I'm not tapping off, but I'm just going to go in and just let my eyes fall, and I'm just going to place this purple, and I'm just sort of tapping and blending as I go. And I'm actually just going to go over that very pale grey because I've decided that I wanted to add a little more colour into that. Now the thing with this palette, I've got to tell you, I could keep going and building up colours and darkening it and having this big, wide, smoked out goth drag extravaganza on my eyes. But I think I'm just going to leave it there just as is for now. I'm just going to go in with a different blending brush, a clean blending brush, with just a little tiny bit of that first sort of bone shade on. And I'm just going to take that just underneath my brow bone. There we go. So I'm just going to do my eyebrows. As you know, I don't actually have any eyebrows, they are tattooed on, but I do use, again, this is a standard product that I use every single day, the Makeup Revolution Redemption Palette Essential Mattes. Don't think you can get this anymore, but it's just a sort of nudie brownie sort of neutrals palette. So I use this just to do my eyebrows, so I'm going to do those now, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds. That's my eyebrows on. They're a little bit darker than I normally go for, but why not? We're going for a darker look, so let's just goth it out, shall we? And I'm going to do my lower lash line, and I want to take a little bit of that plum and use that. It is a satin shade. I don't know whether I said that before, that it is a sort of a satiny shimmer, and I wouldn't normally put that under my eye, but I'm going to. But also, there isn't an awful lot of fallout and kickback with this one, so it's okay. I am just, as she says that, I just need to blow it out my eye, you know what I mean? Smoke that out. I do like this brush. I know that some of the angled brushes can be a little bit easier to use, but I do quite like this as just a sort of a stamp and place brush, really. Now I don't want to go completely into the inner corner, but I do want to just darken it up on this side, like so. It gives a little bit of a nice smoky look. So I'm just going to do my bronzer and contour. I'm going to go very lightly. Right, so that's the rest of the face pretty much done. Now I'm just going to go in and curl my eyelashes. Of course, I've got to use the black eyelash curler, don't I? Now if you're going to use eyelash curlers, just be really careful that you don't catch your skin. I'm forever catching just a little bit of eye skin. God, it hurts. I'm going to finish up my eyes by using this, which is the magnetic eyelashes set, or a magnetic eyelash set. I don't know which one this is specifically because Rufus actually bought me this from Amazon or eBay. I've been using this for months. I genuinely love these, and I've not had any problems. Now, you watch in this video, I'm going to have tons of problems. So, I'm just going to apply the eyeliner. And it is a really thick eyeliner, but as you can see, it's really black, and just as an eyeliner itself, it's actually really nice. Now I don't want to do a total wing, but I do just want to get enough eyeliner on to give the lashes something to stick to. So it's not a full-on wing, it's just a little mini wing. And the thing I actually really like about this, which is a lot of people when they reviewed it really didn't like, is that the brush is actually really thick, so you get a really bold black line. As I said earlier, the skin on my eyes is very mobile, so with the tiny little brushes I find it really hard for it not to skip and pull, and I don't want to be sort of pulling my eye out and the skin out, which just sort of makes the problem worse really, the lines and the crinkles. It's just something that happens as we get older. So with that thick brush, I actually just really like the way that it goes on. Now you do have to wait a couple of minutes for it to dry down, so while I'm doing that I'll just grab my mascara. So this is the Makeup Revolution Big Lash Mascara, and you all know how to use mascara. You just apply it to the bottom of the lash, roll up and give it a little wiggle. Now if you give it that wiggle, that sort of zigzag motion as it goes up, it just helps to curl and separate the lashes. And just oops. This is a good chance for me to show you how to deal with a mistake. So, I don't know whether you can see, I've just managed to put a little bit of mascara just there on that little white bit. Now, your first reaction if you do that might be, oh my god, get a makeup wipe, wipe it, wipe it, wipe it. Don't. If you wipe it, it's going to cause problems, it's going to smudge, you're going to get a big black blur, and if you do manage to get it off, you're going to end up with a grey smudge, which in this look probably would be able to hide. But a good tip, let it dry completely, and then go in with a makeup spoolie, like an eyebrow spoolie, and just scratch it off. So I'm going to do that in just a second. While I'm waiting for that to dry, let's apply the magnetic lashes. They just pop out of the case, you literally just pop them off the little magnetic band. And as I say, I've worn these quite a few times, so they just look like any other fake lash. And you just line it up, line it up, line it up, and on it pops. Literally that simple. Because I have been wearing these for a few months, I can tell you that I can wear these out in sort of all types of weather, in the wind, and they don't fall, they don't pop off. This is the spoolie trick, so you've probably seen this done before. I've certainly used it in videos before. Gone. Today is not my day for lips. Okay, I'm not going to lie, that was possibly the hardest thing I've ever had to do, which was my bloody lips. So 5 different shades, on, off, on, off. My lips are so sore. As you can see, my makeup has rubbed off. I've had to reapply and reapply the foundation around my mouth. In the end, I went with the Kiss Proof Bella Pierre one in the shade whatever that is, can't remember, and this, which is the Diamond Lip Gloss by Barry M. It's called That Swell, and it's a little bit tingly, but my lips were already feeling quite intensely irritated, so that's enough. I'm not doing any more on my lips. It's not what I wanted. It's a bit too sort of nude really, and but there you go. That is kind of the look. So this is the finished look. What do you think? I did put this top on thinking it would be a bit Wednesday Addams.
Copyright claim.
but I do feel like a cross between Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sigourney Weaver's character when she's possessed in the original Ghostbusters film. Are you the Keymaster? If you haven't already, please do hit subscribe and hit the bell icon. It will keep you informed each and every time I upload a video. As we always say on this channel, stay you, stay authentic, stay safe, and fuck the haters. And I will see you next time. Take care. Was any of that filmed? I don't know. I'm going to do it again. Your poison running through my veins. Don't know whether you can hear Captain Pugwash. There is an ice cream van outside now, just as I'm filming. That's great. The American High Court judge and Zool. I know, right? All the young people watching this are going, what the fuck is Captain Pugwash? Do I like that? Does that work as a look? I don't think it does it? This foundation has been on my face for like 5 hours at this point. This is ridiculous. These are just so much easier, even with my left hand. No, actually I can't do it with my left hand. Okay, just say goodbye.